Get ready to go live, little stinkers. All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the new tent. I just got some coffee going here, so hang on, let me pour this real quick. It's starting to get cold out because our storm's starting to show up, and the forecast is calling for a little bit of snow here tonight, so we'll see what hits. But that's going to be after 11 p.m. And we had pretty high winds all day long. It was the winds got up to almost 40 miles an hour here, and this tent held up phenomenally well. So for those who may not have seen the video that I just posted about 30 minutes ago, this is the Shackelton tent. It's from Ellis Canvas Tents, which is based out of Durango. They've been in business for literally 30 years now. They got started in 1992. And I actually got a call from Dennis today, which is one of the owners of the company. He just wanted to check in and make sure everything was going good with the tent. So we chatted for a while, and that was awesome. He seems like a really cool guy, and we've got a lot of the same interests, it seems. And so this tent here, though, it's all handmade. It's canvas. As you can tell, there's no noise with the wind. It's windy out right now, and it's nice in here. So I'll actually be able to get some sleep when we've got snowstorms going on, as opposed to the Bighorn 3 that I had. It was a great tent, but I mean, you all know the struggles that I had in that thing with not only the wind, but also the condensation. So this tent is awesome. What you got there, girl? This tent's awesome because there's, canvas breeze. And so there's no issues with condensation in here. And then last night it got down to 18 degrees, but I turned my stove off at I shut everything down around 11 p.m. because it was too hot in here. And so Sierra and I actually slept last night without the stove on. So let me check the comments real quick and say what's up. Wow, we got a lot of people. Let's see here. Yeah, Chris, this is a big tent. It's 11 by 11, but the interior is huge. I mean, okay, so check this out. Let me put this up. I'll show you the height of the tent here as far as the space, because some people had said like, hey, is that tall enough? I'm like, I can't even touch the top. Okay, I've got a vent up here that I can go like that, and I've got a little step I can get up and open it. But that's like 9 feet of headroom, so it's way up there. So I'm 6 feet tall, and I'm reaching all the way up, and I'm touching this little vent thing. So there's plenty of headroom in here. It feels a lot bigger than it looks on the outside. It looks big on the outside, but you come inside, and it's really nice and spacious. And the way I've got it set up, let me just kind of pan around the deal here. I'm not going to touch my computer because it seems like every time I do that, I get disconnected with the stream. But we've got the bed obviously set up over there, stoves in the middle, which I really like the stove being in the middle of the structure. The reason for that is that the heat just disperses out pretty evenly, and I really don't even have to use my eco fan that much to really push the air around. Panning to the left here, that's where I've got my fridge, and I'm starting to work with a new battery. It's a company called Zender. That's the Super Base Pro 2000. It's a hybrid battery that's got a deep cycle and a lithium kind of like blended together. And the good thing about that is it can go down to -4 temperatures, which will be awesome for winter camping. So the issues that I had in the past with all the lithium ion batteries that I'd use, after 27 degrees, they start to falter. And so this is going to be a game changer for me because, it rarely ever gets down to -4 inside my tent, but it will get down to like 10 degrees or something like that at night when we're sleeping. And then I'll wake up and have to stoke the stove. And so having that to where I don't have to wait for the sun to come up for solar to kick in to kind of jumpstart the battery again is going to be really nice. And so, but we're testing this out for the week here. I'm going to go to Phil's on Friday. For people that don't know, Don the Mob, one of my buddies, he's got a canvas tent too. And so he's got a really big one. He's got a Kodiak tent with like a big old living structure on the inside and then a nice big old awning room, which I think he put his camp kitchen out there and stuff like that. But there's supposed to be snowstorms up at his place, and he's high. He's about he's probably about 700 feet in elevation higher than I am at my property in Arizona. And so when I get snow at my place, it sticks on the south-facing sides of the ridge behind me. But at my property, most of my, the north-facing sides, but my property is all south-facing for the most part. And so that, that snow melts away pretty quick. But Phil was telling me last year, he went up to his property a couple of times. He's like, dude, there was tons of snow on the ground. So I'm thinking like, it'll be fun to go over there this weekend and hopefully we'll get into a good storm. So, all right, let's see what we got here. Alan, what's up, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Chris Andrews, hey, what's up, man? We met a gas station several years back at Four Corners. Oh, cool, man. Well, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for saying hello there. Joe, what's up, man? Yeah, this is a good looking tent. So for those who want to check them out, it's just elliscanvastents.com. Or is it Ellis Canvas Tents? Let me pull up the URL. I'll put the URL here in the it's elliscanvastents.com. And the model that I went with, here, I'll put the link up, is it's the Shackelton. And I went with the 11-foot by 11. See, this is the problem I'm having with this stupid Kaneko stove. The stovepipe on this thing is messing up, and it's starting to do backdraft right now. Um, Sorry, but anyway, I went with the Shackleton tent, the 11 foot by 11 foot with the zip out vinyl bathtub floor, and I couldn't be more pleased with this thing. It's like when I set it up, as soon as I actually got it out of the package, because it came, like, obviously in a cardboard package. As soon as I got out of that, I looked at the bag that it came in. I'm like, oh, this is head and shoulders above what I used to get from Cabela's. And so I'm not knocking Cabela's, but this is just a better, much better handcrafted Four Season tent. So, all right, let's see here. MKNE, you're asking about a new stove. Yeah, this is the Kaneko stove that I have in my camper out in Arizona. I'm using it now just because the 4-dog stove that I have, it's in Colorado at my storage unit. But I'll definitely be switching over to that once I get to Colorado. I'm not going to take this one back there. The problem with this stove is I used this exact same stove for my hot tub, my wood-fired hot tub. I put the copper coils on the inside of it, and then I punched holes on the other side, so it's kind of useless for my camper. But that stove was awesome. This one, for some reason, it seems like the seams on the back aren't sealed, and I'm getting ash that kicks out the back of the stove, like on the back part here where it's supposed to be sealed. And then on the stovepipe, the stovepipe that I had on the previous model of this, it worked fine, and there was no seepage at all. This one, on all the seams, there's too much of where the metal goes over like this. For some reason, there's a gap in it, and that creates airflow coming out of it. So I actually have a little bit of smoke that comes out of here at night on the stovepipe, which is kind of annoying. So what I did to combat that was I took aluminum foil and bunched it up, and then put it around the area where I'm going to cinch that piece of stovepipe down in there, and it worked. So, but I'm still getting a little bit out of the front, and it's windy right now. I took off my spark arrestor because the spark arrestor that comes with this it's just not any good, and it actually impedes airflow and creates backdraft. And so that's kind of counterproductive to have that on there when it's windy, because windy winds have backdraft as well down your stove. So I do need to get this going real quick though. So give me a second to see what's going on with this. You have to put in some more fire starters and get it going. Oh no, that's good. That's getting going now. All right, let's get to the comment section here. All right, Phil's tent is huge as well. SK, yeah, it looks good. See, look at this backdraft I got here. Exclusive tents. What's up, man? I hear that you might be going to Phil's. So if you are, let me know, and I'll cruise up there and say hello to you guys. So the Diesel Stop, how you doing? I'm doing good, brother. Hope you're doing well. Jennifer Inman, hello from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Greetings and blessings from Veracruz, Mexico. Oh, that's cool. Maria, thanks for tuning in. That's awesome. Corey, what's going on? Can't believe you got it so soon. Yeah, I know. I mean, like, I ordered this thing on, what was it, the Monday before Thanksgiving, and it showed up on Sunday, even with an error from UPS shipping it down to the Mexico border. So that's pretty good. I was impressed. I mean, Ellis shipped it out like right away, which was awesome. I literally placed the order at Phil's place on Monday night, and then Tuesday morning, after I checked my email, I was kind of out of pocket for a little bit, but I checked my email like Tuesday afternoon, and on Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock, they had already created the shipping label and get it ready to send out. So I was pretty impressed with that, which is awesome. So let's see here. Chris Rader, JB Weld. Yeah, JB Weld will be good. I don't have any with me right now though, so wish I would be carrying it. So Joe, you're asking me what I do with the old tent, or what I did with the old tent. I still have it. The only problem with it though is the front of it, the zipper in the front. Just after all the years of up and down, it finally just gave out. And I could definitely get it, something else sewn in there and get a new zipper. But the issue that I really have with it, hang on a sec. The issue I really have is that, so that tent's big, and to put that center ridgeline pole, that like the big one in the center, not the two A-frames in the front on either side, but the big one in the center, you have to walk on the tent when it's on the ground. And so after years of doing that, there's like little pinholes all across the roof of my tent. So, I mean, you guys have heard me talk about the condensation issues with that thing. Even when there weren't any holes in the top of the tent, there were condensation issues, but it got really bad with those holes, because what would happen is overnight, if it's snowing like crazy, and I was experiencing this, in Colorado at the place I bought out there, but if it was snowing like crazy, and then if I'm sleeping and the stove gets to the point where it's not keeping the roof of the tent like really warm, or the structure warm, it starts to cool off, then that snow will accumulate. Then when I start the stove back up and it melts, it comes through all those pinholes and just drops down on me. And there's literally a pinhole right where I'd set up my bed to where it would drop on my face. I was like, I don't want to start my day like this. So I'm happy to make the change. And, I just couldn't be more pleased with this canvas tent. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Man, we got lots to Paula. Hell, thank you so much. Give baby girl a bully stick. I would definitely will. Thanks for that. I'll get her some good treats, and she's been doing great. Sierra's been doing awesome. So we haven't gone into the vet yet, but she doesn't have any breathing issues down here. She is drinking more water down here, so I'm wondering if maybe she just had maybe like just a it was like a dry cough. I'm wondering if maybe she just needed some water. But I mean, definitely she does have lung cancer for those that aren't aware. And so she's got 4 tumors in her lungs, and the largest one is an inch in diameter. But I have been giving her all those great natural homeopathic medicines from Vitality Science. And I mean, she's doing awesome. The doctors told me, they're like, this was back in 2020. They're like, or I guess it was it 2020? No, it was it was latter part of 2021. They told me, they're like, if she's around for another 6 months, we'd be shocked. And so here it is, 15 months later. She's running around like crazy. We just had some people come up to camp and say hello. One guy was from Oklahoma, another guy was from Southern California. They're actually asking about this tent. They're like, dude, that tent's awesome. So, but she was running around with them like crazy. And I mean, if you didn't know she had cancer, you wouldn't be able to tell. So, her appetite's great. Her weight has held consistent. She's been 42, 43 pounds every single time we go in to see the vet. All of her vitals come back good. I am giving her another supplement, which I just got from Vitality Science, which helps to reduce any inflammation for any sort of tissues that are impacted by disease or anything like that. So I think that's probably helping keeping our lungs in better condition, because when we had the CT scan this past spring, the doctors did make mention. They're like, she does have those tumors, but there's no the tissue around it. None of it's irritated. Like it's all in good shape. It looks healthy through the CT scan, and they're like, that's a great sign, because what happens is the lungs will get filled up with those tumors, and it inflames, and then you can't get a full breath, because the tissue gets inflamed and all that stuff. So with her doing great like this, I mean, I'm just going to keep giving her what I've given her, and keep going. And I'll do a video about that too, because a lot of people have asked me about the supplements that I'm using for her. So, all right, let's see here. See, Road Dog, you're heading to Montrose next week from Wisconsin. Hopefully the weather through the mountains won't stop. It should be good. I mean, like, I think they'll get some weather this weekend, but they're really good about getting it all squared away. Yeah, Camping Allen, what's up, dude? Thank you so much for sending me that photo from your plane the other day. That was cool to see the aerial view of where I'm at there in Colorado. So that's pretty awesome. And Alan, we should get together when I get out there, dude. I'll be let's see, I'm going to be coming back. Well, I'll be coming back through the 3rd week of December, but I'm going to Kansas to go visit my family for the holidays. But then I'm coming back immediately after Christmas, and I'll probably spend New Year's in the tent, just somewhere winter camping around. I may even go up to my place in Colorado. I don't know. But somewhere in Southern Colorado, I'll be winter camping, and then I'll just be bouncing around all winter. And then I'll probably head back to Arizona, my property there, in the spring, like in March, because it's just the weather out there is so incredible. And I'll continue doing some more volunteer work for like the Native American archaeological group that I'm a part of. So, all right, let's see here. Okay, let's see here. Well, Chesapeake, he is the broker. So, all right. But Paula, yeah, she's totally a fighter. It's awesome. And I'm just really pleased that that I get like a second chance with her, because I was sick for so long, and I know I wasn't in the best of spirits around her, and I'm sure that probably put her on edge a little bit. And so I feel like this has given me a chance to, now that my health is better and I've gained weight back and I'm not dying of giardia like I was previously, now that that's all kind of passed, I feel like I've got a chance to have good times with her again. So I'm really thankful for that. So all right, let's see here. Overland, hi from Northern California. Hey, back at you, man. Overland Adventure Van. I'll have to check out your channel and see what you're up to. Let's see. All right, let's see. Okay, we'll talk about that whole Colorado property at another time. So right now I'm just kind of working through some stuff, and we'll see what takes place. So let's see. Yeah, Sally, I'm still talking to the vet, and we're gonna go and see her. I gotta make a call and see when we can get in. Probably next week we'll see if we can get in, or the week following. Anytime before Christmas would be good. So Cheryl, thank you so much. The treats for the sweet baby girl. We'll definitely get her a bunch. Sierra, we got so many people giving you treats, baby girl. We're gonna go to the store and get you a bunch of stuff up in Flagstaff when we're done here, okay? I love you, sweetie. All right, let's see what else we got here. Sierra approves of the new tent. Hey, Danya, how's it going? Yeah, this new tent. I like, typically when you get a tent, and I've had a number of tents over the years. The four season tent was obvious. The Bighorn 3 was obviously the biggest one I've ever worked with. But a lot of times you get the tents, like you spend half of your time trying to just figure out how to put it together, and this was so easy to do. It's like stake off the four corners, pull the four guy lines that pull the main tension out to the edge, and then stake them down, come in, put in the stakes on either side, put in the center pull, tighten the other ones, and you're done. And I was like, man. And even with me, like trying to position it and making sure everything was flat and everything was stretched out and taking extra time to do it, only took me 14 minutes because I timed it. And so it's pretty simple. So once I get to the point to where I can jam with this thing, I'm good to go. And the floor in here, one thing I want to mention about this floor is this is the bathtub. Let me push this down. Hang on one second. So this floor material is super durable. This is like the thickest vinyl floor material that I've ever experienced in a tent, and this zips out too. So if I want to flip switch this out with the other floor option they have, I can do that. And so like all the attention to detail, even like all the tie off points in here that are all around this tent. I mean, I could put up guy lines all through here. I was talking to Dennis earlier. I was telling about the guy line, the one in the center. I'm like, oh, that's perfect for my laundry to dry my laundry when I do hand laundry. And so what I'm talking about here is like these sort of cut off, these sort of tie offs that are like right here. I mean, whoops, I guess you can't see that. So like these sort of tie offs right here, you just take the little guy line and you go from here to that, or to that one over there, that one up there, this one, those. You can make any sort of like hanging area that you want. And I like to do that because I can put lights up there. You can take a light and put it on a carabiner and just push it back and forth, so you kind of have a light that you can take anywhere you want around your tent. You can also like hang gear. In the wintertime, it's nice to have something here in front of the stove. So what I'm going to have is the stove pipe literally, right here gets hot, especially when I'm cranking the stove. So I can have like damp weather or damp clothes from being out in the snow and bad weather. I can come in here and like heat it up and dry it all out. And I don't have to worry about the condensation getting on the side of the tent like I used to have with the Bighorn. So I'm just really pleased for this. It's going to open up more flexibility for me to be more mobile in the wintertime, because the issue that I had with the Bighorn 3 was I'd set up and then I would just have to like wait for the storms to come to me. Well, now I can chase the storms. So if there's a insane storm hitting the LaSalle Mountains in Utah, I'm going to jam there. If there's an insane storm hitting the western slope of Colorado, I'll just go there. If it's central Colorado, I'll go there. Like I've got spots all over. Let's see, I've got Arizona, southern Utah, northern New Mexico, and lots of areas of Colorado where I know there's winter camping spots. And these are spots that I don't share with anybody because it's taken years to find those. And what it is typically you find roads that are grandfathered into the county maintenance road schedule to make sure they get plowed. And then you get super deep in the forest. And the way you find that, I'm not going to tell you where these places are, but you can find them in your local areas if you find out where the homesteads are and the old ranches that are grandfathered into those areas. When the Forest Service took over those areas, they still have to plow to those places. And so that's a little hack for you that I use to find the spots. But it'll take you a long time to find them. It took me 8 years to find like probably 20 suitable campsites for the winter. So, all right, let's see here. It's crazy weather here in West Virginia. See if you ever make Oklahoma, give me a shot. Oh, diesel stop. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool, man. Yeah, I actually, so I'm from Wichita, Kansas. We grew up outside of Wichita in a little town called Bel Air, Kansas. And it was probably the exact polar opposite of Bel Air, California. It wasn't glitz and glam. It was just fun. It's just county roads and a lake. And me and my brothers would just run around all the time and go fishing and drive go-karts around and just hang out on dirt roads in Kansas. It was awesome. And I love going to Oklahoma. I actually went down to the Wichita Mountain Range, and there's that little town, Medicine, oh gosh, was it Medicine Bow or something? Or anyway, they've got a little trout run through there in the wintertime. I've been wanting to hit that for a while, but it's like this little hippie town in the middle of Oklahoma next to the Wichita Mountain Range, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, if I go down there, I'll let you know for sure. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Yeah, Alan, this is definitely a game changer tent for sure. So let's see here. Brian, think about getting another dog for sure. Brian, I've thought about that, but the problem that I have is with such limited space, especially in my truck, I don't want to get like a small dog. I want to get a dog at least her size. And I think 2 of those dogs in that small truck would be a little too much. Like right now, when I sleep in the back of the truck in the summertime and the spring and the fall with Sierra, there's just enough room for the both of us, but it's pretty tight. And I think if I got another dog, excuse me, put the coffee up here. I think if I got another dog, that may make it uncomfortable. And also too, I like, with me and with Sierra being sick, I kind of want to have it to where it's just our time together, because I was sick for so long. I mean, we didn't hike. We probably stopped hiking hardcore, like because we used to hike every day and just go out and bang trails and then go fly fishing every day and all that stuff. Because when I was doing all the trail work in Colorado, all the volunteer work, I picked trails that would go to like badass fishing spots. And so I'd be like, yeah, I'll go on that trail again, no problem. They're like, that's the 3rd time this week, dude. but but at about 2019, I started having issues like digestive issues. Like I couldn't eat certain foods. I get super sick, and I'd have like major stomach pain, and it was just weird. Like I never threw up or had like weird diarrhea or nothing like that, but I did have like the most insane swelling in my stomach. I'd watch my stomach go from a 32 to a 38, and I'm like, what the hell's going on, And so, but then come to find out, I had misdiagnosed Giardia, and so I got down to 119 pounds, and then that was really tough. And so now that my health is good, it's like I want Sierra and I to have those memories again, like we used to. And when I tell her, I'm like, let's go hiking, it's like she's like days of old, she gets all excited and just goes running like crazy. And so that's awesome. But I think that one of these days when she's no longer here, I'll definitely adopt another dog, and I'll probably stick with the same like working brand, like a healer, because she's definitely got red healer in her. But you can tell by her face there's probably something a little bit different. So she has something else in her, and I haven't done a genetics test yet, but I'll definitely go with one of those working breeds again, because like, Australian Shepherds or healers or anything like that, they're smart and they like to like work all day. So like this lifestyle is perfect for them. And then they develop a really good bond with their their humans. And so you're able to really, like I don't ever put Sierra on leash anymore. She's always by my side. Like I'll be like, Sierra right here. She's boom. She's right there. So it's pretty good. So, all right, let's see here. Cindy was asking, any plans to go visit Baron and Elsa? Oh, hang on 1 second. Any plans to go visit Baron and Elsa, check out the house? And Sierra needs to meet. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, they were talking about Pilot right before I or whatever her name is, right before I left. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely go check out Baron and Elsa, the house, all the progress they've done. I think they're getting pretty close to having that thing pretty much enclosed, I believe. And I know they moved into their A-frame for the winter, which is got to be much more comfortable than the Scamp, because Baron couldn't stand up fully in the Scamp. He always had to have his head down because the headroom there I think is like 5 feet 10 inches or something like that. But I love Elsa. I'm excited to see how things unfold for them at their property. They're just really good people. So, all right, let's see here. Corey, you're supposed to be getting 3 to 5 inches. That's awesome. See Brandon House here. She's doing great. She's just running around, having fun like usual. Her breathing issues have kind of mellowed out since we've been back, and so I think that's I just think that everything's good here. So we're just gonna keep trucking, and we'll go back to Colorado. But if her breathing issues come up again, then we'll come back here. Because like Flagstaff is near here, near where I'm at. I mean, they get pounded with snow. Like they don't. It doesn't stick as much as Colorado because their temperatures are a little bit warmer during the daytime, and the ground's different there. It's all volcanic ground instead of like just natural rocky earth. So it's a little bit different to work with. But as far as accumulation goes, in the last 5 years, the biggest snowstorms that I've been in have all been in Arizona. So well, no, there was one in Colorado 2 years ago that we hit in September. It was kind of like this freak storm that was pretty good. That Baron and Elsa, we were all out. I was like, hey, there's a storm coming. Let's go winter camp. It's like, all right. So we jammed to the spot to winter camp. But other than that, it's just the accumulation out here. I think what it is you've got the Colorado Plateau that's literally like an hour to the west of here where it drops off down to the desert. And so all that air coming from the Pacific Ocean and it's filled with moisture. It's warm down there, but it hits up here and all of a sudden it's cold and it just dumps like crazy. And that's the same with the monsoons too. Like when the weather pattern out here shifts, it doesn't come from California anymore. It comes from the Sea of Mexico, from the Sea of Cortez, and it comes up from Mexico there. And then that, as soon as that hits the rise in elevation, it just dumps moisture like crazy. So let me grab a little bit more wood. I want to stoke the stove a little bit more here, and then we'll keep chatting. So let's see how's our stove looking. Oh, we're doing good. All right, put this on there and we'll be in good shape, sweet girl. All right. We're good for the night now. Okay. What else have we got here, girl? Let's see what else we got for comments. Let's see here. Wow, there's a lot of comments on here. All right, let's see what we got here. I have 2 Australian Shepherds. They're so loyal and fun. Oh, that's cool. Katie's journey, active enough for hiking and any other activities. Can't go wrong with any. I agree with that. The herding breeds are awesome. They just love you to pieces. I mean, like Sierra, it's like she spends all her day just kind of looking at me, and I'm like, what's she doing? And it's like I think she's just like, oh, I love you, human. So it's pretty cool. So let's see what else. Let's see. Camping out. I've only driven through Flagstaff once, and it didn't get pounded with snow. That once that it didn't get pounded snow. Oh yeah, that last year, no, it was 2 years ago. They had a 4-foot snowstorm up there, and I was camping in Sedona, and we got 2 feet. Which I woke up. They're like, it's supposed to snow in Sedona. I'm like, yeah, it's Sedona. It's not going to get that much. I woke up the next day and I was like, why is my tarp collapsing around my truck? And I got out and it was like everything was just covered in snow. It was crazy. So, all right, let's see here. Let's see, Alan, German short hair pointers. I heard those are really great dogs too. Yeah, I just haven't ever been around one, so maybe we'll have to hang out in camp so you can introduce me to your pup. So, Steve Borg Resistance looks like the Trekker stuff. Yep, it's the Trekker. And for some reason, this one's a little. I think this one was there was a problem when they made this because it's got a leak in the back of the stove where there's like ash that's getting pushed out, and then the front of the door here for the stove in the front, the bottom part's bent up, and there's actually air that goes in there, so it's not a tight seal. My other trucker stove is awesome, so I may call Kaneko and just be like, hey, I think this one's got a few design flaws with it, but normally all their stoves are awesome, so I don't have anything bad to say about Kaneko. I mean, mistakes happen, so it's all good. Baby Yoda, what's up? Kenny with the bacon. Yeah, Justin, I just love all this. I'm the same way. I mean, if you said, hey, you want to hang out with humans or dogs? I mean, I'd say dogs, every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So, all right, let's see here. Marla F, how you doing? Let's see. Hi, Brian and Sierra. Liking your tent, and I'm really glad to see Sierra's doing good. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that you lost your lab at the end of September. I hear about that heartbreak is just too much. And that's the thing with Sierra. I mean, like, when she was first given that diagnosis, I was floored at just how in pieces I was emotionally. I was just like, what? It was like my world stopped, because like we've only, I'm talking about you. I hit the road with her. I adopted her, and within just a matter of a month or two, we hit the road. Well, no, it was a little bit more than that. It's probably like 4 months. We hit the road. And so, I don't know this life without her. And like her life, pretty much all she knows with me is just doing this stuff. And so I think that's what's been keeping her healthy and keeping her happy is, we stay active. I try to give her as good of human grade food as I can. When we're in town here and I can go to Prescott, there's a really great dog food or dog, like, they got everything. You can groom your dogs there and all that stuff. It's called Paws and Claws, and they have a great selection of raw food, which is really good for dogs that have any sort of autoimmune diseases, cancer, anything like that. Allergies. It helps with allergies and all that stuff. So when we're here, I'll definitely do that. But on the road, I can't carry raw food like that because it just takes up too much space. And so I do a dehydrated human grade food from Honest Kitchen, and they're based out of California. And that's good. She seems to really like both of those. So I can even put her medicine because so what I do in the morning, 3 days out of the week, I'll give her Panicker C. And Panicker C is like a dewormer for animals. But they found this past April that if you couple Panicker C with CBD in dogs, then for whatever reason, the cancer cells cannot uptake oxygen anymore. So they start to shrink. So the way that the cancer cells will circumvent that is if you give your dog food or grains. Well, I just don't give her sugar or grains. So I don't give her sugar or grains. And, it seems like everything's going good. It hasn't spread. The cancer's not spread to any more parts of her body, which is great. And, like dogs aren't good at faking it. So if they don't want to go walk around, they won't go walk around. So my vet was telling me, she's like, the fact that Sierra wants to go hiking with you every day and is running around like crazy and wants to play fetch means she feels good. So I'm like, great. As long as we have good days, we'll be out doing this stuff. So, Baby Yoda, thank you, Kenny. What's up, man? The bacon fund. You'll have to come. So Phil and I are planning to go to Colorado on winter camp. So when we do that, you'll have to come up from the Springs and say what's up. Because we've been talking on YouTube forever. I just haven't had a chance to meet you yet, but I know you're in that area. So, all right, let's see here. I think I wonder if, hey, hang on a second. I wonder if the router's going out. It looks like it's a little choppy. Hang on one second. All right, I just repositioned the router, so hopefully that'll do better. and won't be choppy. So we do have pretty good connectivity out here. I'm still using Unlimitedville. I haven't switched over to Starlink yet. And the one thing I do like about Unlimitedville, I mean, it's just a tiny little router that I can keep plugged in, and it doesn't hardly use. I use like 3 watts, so it's nothing. And I can have it going when I'm driving. So like if I want to pull off somewhere and check my email, or if I've got it connected to my phone, then I can use that to like listen to podcasts and not use any data, because I use a prepaid phone because I don't want to be on contract, so I have a limited amount of data on it. But the Starlink is nice, obviously, because you can get into more places and have connectivity, but you have to set it up and you have to position it outside, and it has to be in full view of the north sky. And I did notice when I was at Overland Expo this past spring in Flagstaff, well, I guess it was in May, so I guess you call it summer. But we were up there, and a bunch of people that were parked in the DIY rig area, to where you have like all these cool rigs people have built themselves. At Starlink, they're like, we can't even get service because we're in these trees. We can't get enough sky. And I'm like, well, my cellular one still works. So there's benefits and drawbacks to each. They cost the same each month, and so it's about $125. But it's I don't know. It's quite a deposit you got to put down for Starlink. It's like $600, so we'll see what happens. So, Austin P, you're from Payson. That's cool, man. I love Payson. That's a cool area. And same with Pine and Strawberry. I love going camping around there. And I'm waiting for the Verde Hot Springs to open back up, because I know they had like really bad issues with that road getting washed out back there when that fire happened in Fossil Creek. But man, that's a cool area, and those hot springs are just insane. So exclusive 10, Sierra's been through so much. She's so tough. I remember when she got attacked, but yeah, that was tough, man. She got her neck all ripped up from those German Shepherds and stuff like that. And I don't know why, but for whatever reason, it seems like older German Shepherds go out, like we'll see her and just automatically go after her. I'm like, what is it about her that they sense? Does she have like coyote in her or something, or is there something that makes it to where it like sets off their alarms that this is a dog that shouldn't be around here or something? Because I always wonder like why the German Shepherds go right after her. So I have to really be careful with that when we're in a big setting, because those German Shepherd around, they could be nice to everybody else. They see Sierra and they want to go attack her immediately. And I'm like, what's up with that? So that's kind of strange. So cool. Thanks for tuning in. Hi, Brian from Florida. Hey, back at you. Hope all is well down there. And she is much pretty. That's funny. Same with Priya. Her submissiveness seems to draw the attacks. I wonder if that's what it is, because Sierra, she used to be a lot more. She'd like stand her ground before, since she got sick. And I'm wondering if maybe the animals can smell the cancer in her, because they automatically, when they're around her, they start sniffing her like crazy all over her body. And you know how animals can like smell that stuff, and you can, I mean, that's what they say. So who knows if they can or not. But I wonder if maybe that sets them off. And sick. And she used to not be like that. She, like, if a dog was snapping her, she'd just like, oh, and she'd go right back at him and be like, don't do that. She would never go after a dog, but she would definitely defend herself. And now she just cowers and goes away. And so I'm wondering if that has something to do with it. So let's see, Chris, glad to see those 10. I mentioned it to you in a live stream forever ago. Oh, cool, Chris. I apologize. I forget. With all these live streams and stuff like that and all the comments, I sometimes forget. But I have been scoping Ellis tents for like the last year, and I'm really pleased with this, man. So let's see. You had mentioned, let's see, it was the tent Don from Four Dog. Oh, cool. That's awesome. I would love to reach out to Don and tell him how awesome the DX stove is that I have. Hey, let me turn down the here. It seems like since I moved. All right, there we go. It's a little bit better. Your connection is unstable. Can you guys see me? It's saying now that I don't have any that I don't have a connection. There we're back. I don't know what's up with the connection. So anyway, so for dinner tonight, I think we're going to make biscuit sandwiches. I've got some biscuits we can do over the stove, and I've got some ham and some cheese and some avocado and all that stuff. So we're gonna do that for dinner, and then we're gonna camp here until Friday. And then at that time, I'm going to go back over to Phil's and hang out with him for the weekend. I'm going to take my quad over there, and then also some tools to help him kind of clear out some areas. I didn't realize this, but there's a part of his property you can stand on, and you can see the Grand Canyon from his property. It's insane. It's like the best view ever. There's all these mountains around and all stuff. He's like, see that big old... I'm like, what is that? He's like, that's a Grand Canyon. I'm like, no way. I was like, you can see a national... So we're gonna cut open those views on his property and really open it out on his tent. Because like behind his tent, I don't know if you all follow his channel, but if not, it's Down to Mob Overland. And behind his tent, there's this insane rock ridge that we're gonna cut out some trees so you can see it when he's filming and stuff like that. And so I'm excited that Phil's getting into winter camping. I started doing this in 2015, and I have asked my friends for years, like, please get into winter camping, please get into winter camping, so that we could all do this stuff. And the first ones to really tackle it were Baron and Elsa. So it was fun that when I go out and camp with them, because we'd set up in similar areas. Like they'd be like down the road from me a little bit, but then they'd be like, hey, be sure to look outside your tent in 10 minutes. I'm like, why? And then like Baron and Elsa would be driving by and Baron would be snowboarding in the back, and then Baron, they'd switch and Baron would drive by and Elsa would be snowboarding by and stuff. And it's awesome. And now that Phil's winter camping, I'm like, dude, we've got so many cool places that we can go and do stuff. And so it's just fun. This is my favorite time of year to be out, because there's not a lot of people out. The conditions are kind of gnarly, but when you've got like a good stove and an awesome tent and an awesome dog with you, it's like it's good times all around. And there are these moments that you have out here when you're winter camping, where the snow's coming down and you look out and all you see is just a blanket of snow. There's no footprints, there's no tire tracks, there's nothing. And you see off in the distance the sun setting or rising or whatever, and then you see the big herds of big game animals come through. And there was one year that I was camping on Mount Antero, and it snowed really bad in the high country, like really, really bad up high. And so that typically drives down the big herds to the lower elevations. And I was outside, and it was the morning time coming up, and I was looking on the horizon. I'm like, what is that on the horizon? I was like, it looks like it's moving. I'm like, I can't see, because it was still pretty dark out. Well, as the sun came up just a tad bit more, I realized it was a herd of elk, and it had to be hundreds of elk, all in this huge herd going along the valley near my tent. And I'm like, that wouldn't happen if I didn't. You'll have winter days where it's really nice and it's sunny out, and you go out and do chores, stuff like that outside, and it's like no issue at all. You're not cold. And so, the gear's good enough nowadays, and the communications are good enough too, with either Starlink or like Unlimited Ville or something like that. You can come out here and you can pretty much operate as if you were in a house. The difference is obviously you're more exposed to elements. So you got to be kind of on point when storms come and things like that. But I can tell you, like, you're not suffering for comfort or connectivity or any convenience that you would have like in a house. Now, doing things like warming up water and stuff like that, you don't just turn the tap and have it. Obviously, you do it over the stove, or you just don't warm it up. Wash your hands with cold water. But you can do it. And what you thinking, sweetie? You okay? What you doing back here? You want to sit down? What you got? You want to come over here? You want to sit back here? What you doing? I don't know what she wants. I wish she could talk to me. But I has come so far, even since I started, like in 2015, because I was looking for stuff in 2015, but I didn't really know where to go, so I just went to Cabela's, and I was like, oh, the Bighorn 3 looks good. But they stopped selling that in the States in 2019. You can still get it up in Canada, but I think you'd have to find somebody in Canada to ship it to you down here if you were wanting to get it in the lower 48 or Alaska. Back then it's just there just weren't that many tents on the market. Obviously Ellis was, but I didn't know about them at the time in 2015, so that's why I went with Cabela's. But now there's so much out there, and with wood stoves and everything like that, once you learn how to work with a wood stove, they're really safe, and you just take some extra precaution when you're out here and harm's way at all. It's an awesome experience, and I think the biggest thing that I love about it is the solitude, because a lot of times in the summer when you go camping, especially on public land and national forest, especially in Colorado, you will run into a lot of people. But when you're winter camping, you don't see anybody. And it's awesome. Like, you literally have the whole place to yourself. And so it's just special moments that your days are shorter, so you do have a lot more time in your tent at night. But I fill that time with like reading books and listening to podcasts by the stove and hanging out with Sierra. And it's just mellow. Like, I've never been out here and been like super stressed. It's always just like chill times and just kind of you go at your own pace. So I just love it. It's just great. So let's see here. Thanks, Ted, dude. Once storm conditions, I can't wait to show you all how this performs. And what's cool is at night when I have this thing all lit up, it looks like a spaceship. It looks like a little UFO, like right on the ground. So it's pretty awesome. So let's see what else we got here. Thanks. Let's see. Bound to the Truth Ministries. I love you so much, my man. You keep my days from being a true man in today's world. I appreciate that. I try to be as real as I can on the channel. And I mean, this is me. If you hung out with me, I'd be acting the exact same way. And so, I try to make family friendly content for everybody to enjoy, because there's enough negativity in the world that it doesn't need to be here, in the videos. And so I try to always try to be uplifting and positive. And even when I'm going through tough times, I still try to keep it on the positive tip, because I've got troubles in my life just like everyone, but I think I've got a pretty good platform out here to sort it out. So I try to remind myself all the time, what you might be going through at any particular given time might be difficult, but it's a lot easier to digest out here than it was when I was like in the corporate world, dealing with sales goals and bosses that didn't quite understand where I was coming from, and just different stuff. It wasn't like I ever had a problem in the corporate world making money or complying with what I was supposed to do for work. I just didn't like it, and it drove me to a point to where I didn't believe in myself anymore. And so that's why I left the corporate world. And I also that me not believing in myself anymore, that led, you okay, Punk, you lay down. You cold? Let's get you covered. What, you want to go outside? Oh, you need some water. That's what it is. She wants water. Let me get her some water real quick. Hang on 1 second, folks. We gotta get her hydration. But back to the corporate world, real quick. I'll tell you this while I'm filling up her water. I got addicted to prescription pills, to anti-anxiety pills like Xanax and stuff like that, because of how much pressure was put on me in the sales arena that I had, like the jobs that I had, because it was never enough. Like I could have sold the biggest deal 5 seconds ago, and they'd be like, okay, what do you got lined up next? And I'm like, can we just pause for 1 second? And it seemed like I always had to take on more and more and more responsibility. And it never stopped. It was never like, okay, this is your job responsibility. It was always like, okay, we're going to add this now. And then we're going to add this now. And I'm like, I'm only one person. There's only so many hours in the day. And I even hired somebody, and I paid for them out of my own pocket, paid for their salary out of my own pocket, just so I could have like an offload of work, because I had so much work on my plate. And after a while, I just buckled, and I wasn't sleeping well or anything like that. And I went to a doctor, and they're like, well, yeah, if we give you the Xanax, you'll be fine. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, they gave it to me. And so after a month, I was like, no, I'm good. I'm sleep fine now. And then I started getting sick, and I realized, I'm like, shit, I'm addicted to this stuff. And that took a long time. I had a really tough time with that. And so that took a long time to get over. And once I got over that, I realized, I was like, I can't change the corporate world, and I can't change that environment. It is what it is. It's kind of a beast in and of itself. And sometimes you get lucky and work for a great company, but it seems like more and more now these things are more cutthroat. So I realized I couldn't change that, but I could change myself, and I could change what I was doing. I could change the environment that I was operating in. So I was like, I'm just going to leave that chapter of my life. I'm going to close that chapter and leave it behind. I'm going to start something new. And I had no idea my life would end up like this. I never even thought YouTube would take off. So I feel really fortunate in that regard, because this gives me the flexibility to go and do this sort of stuff and be able to live off grid. And, it takes a lot of time to set up that stuff, a lot more time than people think. And so to have the freedom to not have like a strict 9-to-5 job where I have to be there Monday through Friday, and then also sometimes on the weekends, is really nice. So I'm really thankful for that. I'm really thankful for everybody that tunes in as well. So I just want to say thanks for that. But I'll do a video that talks about that. And I did one in the past that talks about that prescription pill stuff, but I'll talk about it again, because I want people to know, especially during these times, these are tough times for a lot of people. COVID really did a number to a lot of people. A lot of businesses were shut down unfairly, but yet the big corporations were allowed to stay open, which is total BS. And so to those people, like, I want to let them know, like, take care of yourself during this time, because when things got bad for me, I didn't take care of myself. And that's why I think that the prescription pill problem became so bad. But had I, instead of, combating stress with prescription medication or beer or weed or whatever, I should have combated that with working out and being active with a lifestyle like this. And so, I don't mind talking about that. Like, a lot of people are like, wow, you really share that with people. I'm like, yeah, because I want people to know, like, you can bounce back from that. If you find yourself in that predicament, you can bounce back. But also too, you don't have to go that route, and no one says that you have to work in corporate America. It's a pain to change your life. Trust me. And it's a pain to change every single thing that you do, to go from the corporate structure to like this structure and not being in it. But it's possible. You just have to have the tenacity to see it through. And if I can help people jumpstart that, to where I can maybe give them some advice or whatever, I'd be more than happy to do that, And so I don't know. I just feel like sharing that negative story, there's a lot of positives to it that can come from it, you know? Because I went through, I almost lost my life. I mean, there was about 6 months of my life I don't remember. And I'm like, man, I wish I could have that back, those 6 months, you know? Like I would be horrified if like I never got to experience this stuff if my life ended early because of that, you know? So it's just times like this, it's like, if you improve, if you work on yourself, even when times are down, then when times get better, you're just that much further ahead, you know? And plus too, it's like, it's not fun to live that way. Like being addicted to any sort of substance, that's not a fun existence. And I think a lot of people have it wrong when they say, "Oh yeah, that person just likes to get hammered." Well, there's a reason why they're checking out, and it's not because things are going good. You know what I mean? So I think it gave me some understanding about folks that go through those problems, because I never understood why people would drink a lot or something. But I'm like, oh yeah, it's because life threw them a bad curveball. That's why. It's not because they woke up on, the side of the bed and said, "Hey, today I'm just going to become an addict," or whatever. It's not like that. So let's see. Thanks, Joy. Let's see. I love how you take care, Sarah. Also, just really appreciate your comment. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate that, Joy. Thanks for that super chat. So, but anyway, enough about that. But back to the tent here. We'll be out until Friday, and then we're going to Phil's place, and it looks like Phil's place is going to get hammered with some storms this weekend. So I'm really excited to get into some snow. Hopefully tonight it snows here. It's only about a 30% chance, so it's probably not looking like it will. But if it does, when we wake up with some snow, then I'll be sure to take some cool pictures and share them with y'all. So we'll go for an hour. So we'll go for 14 more minutes here, and then I'm going to log off, and we'll get some dinner going. So, all right, let's see here. Mix it up, Kenny. Have you read any books lately? Well, I just started one. Let me show you. I just finished House of Rain, which is a really great book from Craig Childs about Chaco culture and all of the Native American stuff in the Four Corners. And for those who haven't been to Chaco Canyon, if you want to go see some of the best Native American ruins in the country, go to either Chaco Canyon or go to the Navajo National Monument, because Chaco Canyon has this place called Pueblo Bonita, and it's literally, I think it's like 4 acres. That's 3 or 4 acres big. It's this huge ruin that was like multi-level, and they even have rooms in there that were 100% sealed. That over the years, structures will shift and they might open up a little bit. So one of the rooms opened up, and you can see what the rooms looked like inside back in the day, like in the 1300s when this place was going off, and all the paintings are, all the walls. Can you hear those coyotes? I don't know if you can hear them, but the coyotes are starting to go. But anyway, that room, there's one room that has all the painting in it. It's like 3 stories tall. This room, this interior room, it's crazy. So, but the book that I'm just starting now, it's called Finders Keepers by Craig Childs, and it's about a tale of archaeological plunder and obsession. So I just got started last night. Just started with the first chapter. So I'll let you know how this works out. That's a good one. Or the House of Rain is a good one. 1491 is a really good one. That's about the Americas before Columbus came, and it talks about how the Amazon had tons of huge cultures in it and huge cities and all that stuff, and how the Americas were a lot more packed than modern history wants to give them credit for and stuff like that. So, but this one's cool. So it's Finders Keepers. And for those that aren't aware, if you're new to the channel or something, I actually volunteer for an archaeological group out of Sedona, and we photo document all the new Native American ruins that we find in the surrounding wilderness areas around Sedona. What's crazy is, so I think Sedona, like the Forest Service and the BLM around there, I think they've published up to like, I don't know, a handful, like probably about a dozen, sites to say, hey, go to this site, like this place Palenque. Insane to check out. It's so cool. There's a room in there that stays the same temperature year round, no matter what time, no matter what year it is. It's crazy. And so there's that place. But then there's, so there's like a dozen or so that they've published that people can go visit. But they've documented over 5,000 around town, 5,000 ruins. So it's like Sedona is like a treasure trove for that. But I don't put that stuff on my channel because I don't want to blow it up, because I know how quickly, those ruins can get overrun. There's a ruin there that was a really cool ruin, and within 2 years' time, it was completely decimated because some guy put it on a map and was like, oh yeah, I'll sell coordinates for these ruins, and if we all find him out on the trail, he's going to get a backcountry tune-up real like 100%. We're gonna make sure he doesn't do it anymore. So somebody was asking if I'm on Rumble. Yeah, but they don't pay anything. I've been on Rumble for a year and I've made a total of 4 cents. So it's just the platform I do like Rumble that they invested in their own tech, which I think is huge because you saw all these other platforms like would shut down. Like I can't remember what was it. There was another. I can't remember what it was. Some other app they shut down, but so Rumble invested in their own media player and all that stuff, which is great because it's a good media player. So you don't have to use YouTube for stuff anymore if you don't want, which is nice. And they did build some good backend features. The problem is, it's kind of like those internet service providers. It's like whoever's there first kind of wins. It's like the first in wins. So YouTube got started a long time ago, and they just have all the traffic and the advertisers. Because like I get hit up probably daily from people that want me to work with them on YouTube from different companies. I've never once been hit up from anybody that works with Rumble. So I'm not saying that they're not there. I'm not putting down Rumble at all, but it's just the reach it's not there yet. But I think it's important to be on there. I'm also on Odyssey because those are two, Rumble and Odyssey. You can back up all your videos from YouTube just in case if YouTube ever wants to take your stuff down. So that's kind of a nice thing. So that way all my videos are still safe over there and they're on their servers as opposed to YouTube. So I wouldn't lose all of my content if for some reason YouTube decides I wasn't suitable for their platform. So let me turn on the lights here real quick because it's starting to get dark. So hang on one second. All right. There we go. It's going to be a little bit better with the lights. All right, let's see here. Cheryl, what's for dinner tonight? So I'm going to do biscuits with ham. I've got Black Forest ham that I'm going to grill up and throw in there. And then I've got avocado and then a really good four cheese, like Mexican 4 cheese blend that I'll throw in there. And we'll do that. And then for dessert, I've got some strawberries and blueberries that we're going to do. And Sierra's already had her dinner. We did that right before the live stream. And then I took her for a walk. And that's when we met those guys from Oklahoma and Southern California. So let's see, Felicia. So you're asking, hello, any advice to a camper who wants to make camping content? I'd say, just be yourself, because I've had a lot of friends that, well, not a lot of friends, but I've had friends that start up YouTube channels, but they always have like a theme, like if it's gimmick camping, for example, or it's like camping, camp, like people will do like camping in a no camping area, or I don't know, it's a bad example, but like camping in a roundabout, like some of Steve Wallace's stuff. Like I love Steve Wallace, he's awesome, but I imagine that he probably has to spend a lot of time thinking of a new subject for his next camping video because he does these unique camping areas. And so in my life, I looked at that when I started my channel. I thought, I could do these extreme things, or I could just be myself and play the long game with YouTube. Because I did YouTube for like 4 years before anybody even noticed that I existed, really. And I think about 4 years ago, I was sitting at 13,000 subs. And then it just took off because Outside Magazine started picking up some of my videos and stuff. And I think that, you go around, you meet people, if you collaborate with other people that do YouTube, that's a great way to get your channel out there. But I think that as long as you're just true to yourself, and I also think too, there's plenty of drama in the world, so try not to put drama on there. It seems that people are drawn to drama videos though, so I will say that they do get a lot of views, but I think that would be kind of rather exhausting emotionally to constantly put out drama videos. And so what I try to do is I just try to show this lifestyle in a realistic perspective. I try to show like the ups and downs of camping. There's some days I'm frustrated, there's some days I'm not. Most days are pretty awesome, but you do run into frustrating times out here. And for those that live on the road full time, it's a different lifestyle. There's a lot of different challenges that get thrown at you that normally you wouldn't experience living in a house. And it can be frustrating, like getting mail, like just stuff like that. Like, how do I get mail on the road? And what if you're bouncing around all over the places, and how do I get my tags renewed if I'm not in the city or state where I got my tags initially, or what do I do for internet connection if I'm out in the sticks, things like that. So it's just different things, and it just takes longer to get stuff done. But the nice thing is you've got the time because you don't have to deal with the house or any of that stuff, which is kind of nice. But for camping content, I think that really it seems to me that the comments that I get is that people really like it when you invest a lot of time in editing and making sure that you're telling the story, because basically what this is this is storytelling, but just in a visual format. And so you can tell a story without speaking. It's hard to do, but if you practice that over and over, people, when they pick up on it, it's a great feeling. Because I've done that before, where I've had it to where I had one winter camping video where I shot it. It was a morning sequence to where It started before the sun came up, and I was working with my stove, and we were in Colorado, and it was a pretty gnarly storm that was going on outside. But then the storm mellowed out and cut out before the sun came up. But I was making my breakfast that whole time. I didn't say one word the entire time. And then the last shot was me in the tent, like sitting at the back of the tent. The camera was over there looking this way, and in the background you could see how the valley behind me was starting to glow because the sun was coming up. And then I had just some cool outro music, and everybody was like, "That was awesome. You didn't say one word." And that, like, I totally got that video. And so, I think investing in editing and making sure that you've got that. You can get online if you use, I use, what is it? I forgot what I use here. Let me look at my program. I use Final Cut Pro. And with Final Cut Pro, you can find any editing video that you want on YouTube to help teach you how to do it. That's a great thing about YouTube is there's lots of how-to videos. I mean, you can fix your truck. You can figure out how to edit videos for YouTube. You can do a lot of different things. And those videos are pretty spot on, and they'll have like the timestamps within the the video, so you can click the different sections and kind of see what you're looking for. So I would recommend be authentic, be positive, but not not fake positive. Just be positive in your stuff, and then dial in the editing and invest in good camera gear so you can really capture those outdoor scenes. Because a lot of times, I'll talk with people that have been doing this for a while, and we'll know like certain times of day you just can't film because it's too blown out with the sun. And so if you do film during that time, you have to go back into editing and try to correct it. But lots of times you can't. And so there are certain times of the day that are better than others for filming and so on and so forth. Then you'll figure out stuff with audio. Like I try to film when there's not planes flying overhead because that drives me nuts. And then you can hear it in the background. It sounds like a low rumble. So I try to be mindful of that sort of stuff. And also, I try to clean up my space and make sure it looks good. I tell people, I'm like, I spend about 70% of my time winter camping cleaning because I like to film a lot when I'm out here. And I don't want to film a complete mess. But things get messy pretty easy. And so that's just kind of what I recommend for that. And then also, when I listen to the Joe Rogan Experience, I've listened to that ever since I started winter camping. That was what kept me company. Him, Bill Burr's podcast. Let's see, I used to listen to Aaron Mahnke with Lore. And then a really good one was Dan Carlin, the History Podcast. But when I first hit the road, cell phones didn't have big data plans. You could only buy like up to like 15 or 20 gigs. You can go through that in a day out here if you're really jamming. And so what I started thinking, I'm like, how am I going to get people used to watching me? Like how do I get them to tune in? And I was listening to this Joe Rogan podcast, and this guy asked him like, how did you get people to listen to you? He's like, I just figured out if I did it every day, I'd be part of people's daily routine. And I thought, okay, so if I do that with videos, then I can be part of their routine. Now, doing videos every day it'll exhaust you. You'll burn out way too quick. But you can do it in spurts. And so, like you'll notice on my channel with winter camping, when a storm hits, I'll stack a bunch of videos because I'm just filming the entire time and editing the entire time. And you'll get a bunch of people during that time to subscribe because you're pumping out content consistently. Because people want to tune in to they want to see new stuff and see what's going on. Because that's what I want when I tune into channels. And so I think if the more stuff I can put out, the better off I'll be. And the more content you put out, the better chance you have, to be seen and get picked up in the algorithm. When you have a video that goes off and gets viral, you watch your analytics and you're like, I'm making how much money? You're like, this is crazy. But then you contrast that with the days where it's not going viral and it kind of balances out. So a little bit of a roller coaster ride. You'll notice in the analytics that when you first start to get noticed, you'll have days that peak and then it'll peak and valley. Then after a while, it'll just be kind of consistent. And so if you just stick after it, it took me, let's see, I started posting in, I think 2013, I think is when I first posted a first video. And by 2019, I was able to quit my side hustle job because I always worked side hustle jobs when I was on the road. I was doing landscaping work, or I worked for the town of Crested Butte as a gardener for a little while. Did a bunch of ranch work for people. I'd work on water rights. I'd hike up in the mountains where their water rights started and clear all the irrigation ditches that came down their property. Just different stuff like that. And but by 2019, I was able to quit that and live full time on YouTube. And then ever since, it's been pretty good. I did have a shadow ban from February until May. I lifted in June this year. I think they probably punished me because I said something wrong about COVID, but they seem to have chilled out lately with their censorship stuff, so that's good. So all right, let's see what else. Oh, it's getting dark in here. Let's see. Let me turn on the glass. All right, there we go. That should be better. Okay, let's see here. What else have we got? Let's see. Hey, Josh, I'm not putting on other camping channels. I'm gonna go ahead and hide you from the channel because it seems to me, I don't know what it is about winter camping videos. I don't know why it is, but like people will come on there and they immediately start attacking you. And it's always from guys. So I'm like, well, maybe these guys are just bored and so they don't have much going on in their life, so they want to create conflict. But it's not necessary. Like you don't need to do that on people's channels. And I'm not putting down the other channels. Like I think I love tuning in to the channels. If you go to my page and look at my subscriptions, it's all public. You can see I tune into. I think I've got about 400 different channels that I tune into. I love them all. I really like seeing the storytellers, like the people that are really good at storytelling. Like I think Elsa's good at that. Elsa and Baron. Elsa's editing is insane. Another one is Christian Schaefer. She is her photography is, it's like you're watching a documentary in IMAX. I mean, it's insane. And then she has really good storytelling. Like you can tell she really thinks about her videos because not only is she a great photographer, because I think that's what she got her start as, but now she's doing YouTube and she'll put out a couple videos a month, but they are stellar. And I've told her in her comments, and I don't know if she's ever seen them, but I'm like, your storytelling, your visual storytelling is top notch. And so it's awesome. So let's see what else we got. Let's see here. The Hobbit Hole. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that super chat. Thank you very much. All right, let's see. National forests are for camping too. Contact your local forest. Yeah, and then Chris, another good thing to talk about that is like a lot of people don't realize that the motor vehicle use maps that are around in every Forest Service Ranger district, they're called MVUMs or MVUMs is what people typically refer to them as in short. You can go in any Forest Service Ranger district and grab those because they're for free. And typically when you're in there asking, be like, hey, this is kind of what I'm looking to do. They'll tell you where to go. Like they're really good about that. And it was funny. I was in the Salida. I used to go to the Salida Ranger District all the time when I had trails adopted and would pick up trash all the time. And the gal in the front, she's like, I know everywhere to go, and no one ever asked. Because we got these free maps. I know every single trail out here. I could direct people where to go. And she goes, I get asked that maybe once a month. I was like, really? She's like, yeah. I was like, wow, huh. So now what I do when I go into new areas, I'll go into the Forest Service Ranger districts and be like, hi, this is what I like to do. I truck camp. I'm leave no trace kind of guy, and where could I go that would be cool? And they'll tell you. So it's really great. So, and I do believe, I don't know if their new website, recreation.gov, man, they built a new website for that a long time ago, but they never launched it. And I got to see a demo of it. It was so stellar. It was like interactive. You create your own maps and everything. It was really cool, but they never launched it. So I think recreation.gov is the place you can go to get all that stuff. So, all right, we've gone about 3 minutes over here, but I want to just see if we've got any other stuff. See, let's see here. See any UFOs out there at night? I did see something crazy last year when I was at my place in Arizona. At first, I thought it was a satellite because a lot of times you can see like the International Space Station or other satellites that are in low orbit and that are bigger. You can see them track the sky in the evening. And a lot of times if the moon or if the moon's out, but it's not in your sky, but they're high enough to hit it, the moon will reflection will hit off and you can see it. It's kind of gray. So anyway, so I thought it was the International Space Station that was going across the sky. So I got online because you can get online, you can see where it's at, and it wasn't there. It was over like somewhere over in Europe. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, so what's this? And then it went like this and did a 90-degree angle. I was like, well, I don't think we have that tech yet. And so I don't know what it was, but that's the only thing I've ever seen in the sky that I thought was crazy. So, all right, let's see here. What have we got here? See any, let's see if we got that. Let's see here. Have you ever run into any seriously sketchy type people? Yes, Steve Taylor, I have. And a lot of times when that happens, I just leave because I'm like, hey, I don't want any problems. I'm just going to take off. And if I go around a person that I think is either on drugs or like has ill intent, then I just wish them well and get out of there. I even had it one time where a guy, he was really drunk, set his camper up literally right next to my bighorn tent, right like 5 feet. He's like, I camp here all the time. It's cool. I'm like, what about this? Like, I'm in this site. That's only like, what's going on? He was hammered beyond belief. So I was like, all right. So I just pulled stakes and got out of there. So I'm like, it's not worth it. And I think too, like if, those people, if they're looking for confrontation, they'll just keep badgering you. Like they might come back at night when you're sleeping or something. So just leave, go somewhere else. So it's just not worth it. Because like the Forest Service ranger I ran into a long time ago and had to talk to them about safety. He's like, look, we're not back here. He's like, and if you call the law enforcement officers, yeah, who knows how long it takes them to get to where you're at. He's like, so always carry protection. So I've got multiple ways to protect myself. And then he's like, if anybody gives you problems, just leave. And so that's what I do. That's my recommendation for anyone. So if you get a bad vibe, it's not worth trying to stick it out and like trying to make friends or make nice or anything. Just be like, all right, cool. And then be like, well, I'm taking off so you can have the site. I'm out of here. Have a nice day. And then just leave. So that's what I'd recommend. All right. I'm going to go ahead and log off now. So thanks everybody for tuning in. I'm going to film a video tonight and then I'll have another film. I'm going to film some more in the morning. So hopefully I'll have a video for you by tomorrow afternoon. If not, I'll have one for you by Wednesday. And then I'll try to stack a video Thursday, and then Friday I'm heading over to Phil's, so that's going to be a long day. I'm just packing, moving all my stuff and going over to Phil's place and getting set up and all those things. And so we're going to do some live streams over at Phil's this weekend. So we'll do from inside this tent and then also from inside his tent. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good night. All right, so yeah, let's go get our dinner started, baby girl.